In this video, we're going to go through the calculate function along with the calculate table function to discuss exactly what is the difference between these two. We're going to go through the official Microsoft definitions, and we're also going to go through a demo of when you should be using either or. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi, my name is Fernan and welcome to the Solutions Abroad YouTube channel where I focus on teaching beginners the wonderful world that is Power BI. I upload new videos every week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when a new one is out. So before we go through the differences between these two functions, you need to first understand the concept of scalar functions and table functions. Scalar functions are what you would normally use with your measures, right? So they return a single value when you invoke the function. A table function, as the name suggests, isn't like the scalar function where it returns one value. It actually returns a table for you to use. Now that you understand the difference between the two, that pretty much explains what the difference is between the calculate and the calculate table function. The calculate function is a scalar function, whereas the calculate table is a table function. Both of them practically do the same thing in that it lets you evaluate measures with some predefined filter context, except that what they return is a little bit different. So let me show you what those differences are. Here we have a simple Power BI project which has an employees table. It's a simple HR report that gives IDs, employee names, their start date and end date. And I've also included some basic visuals here to show what is within this table. I also prepared a DAX table here with just one measure, which just counts the number of employees. It's pretty simple. Let's try to create a new measure using calculate, but we want to get the full-time employees as a filter context. So we're going to do that by creating a new measure here. We will do F full-time, and then we will write calculate here. So it asks for two things. It asks for an expression. At the moment we have the count that we can use, and let's add the filter context, which in this case is the employment type. So let's look for that. Equals full-time. Let's close this function and hit enter. Now let's drag that measure onto a card. You'll see that it's exactly the same as what we have here. So it's only counting the number of full-time employees we have in the dataset. And by the way, I created a video already in the past covering the calculate function in a bit more detail. So if you're interested in knowing more about how to use the calculate function and how you could use it, check out that video. I'll leave a link in the description box below. So anyway, as you can see, we use the calculate function, which returns one value. It just gives us the count. However, let's try to do this with the calculate table instead. So let's do the same thing. So let's create a new measure. Let's say FT2, that's another one. Instead of calculate, we then do a calculate table. So you can see it asks for two things. It asks for a table, in which case we'll put employees, and a filter context. So we wanted to filter out the employment type to full-time. So the exact same thing as the calculate function. So you'll see that this fails. So the error says the expression refers to multiple columns. Multiple columns cannot be converted to a scalar value. So because with measures, it expects scalar values as the return value, if you return a table to it, obviously it will fail. We can visualize how this table looks like by creating a table from it. So let's copy this and we will go to the model view and we'll create a new table here. And then we'll paste the calculate table here. In this case, when I hit enter, you'll see that it will work because it's not a DAX measure that we're writing. We're actually generating a DAX table, and because it's expecting a table as a return value instead of a scalar value, it works. If you look at the bottom here, it gives us 440 rows. So it gives us all of the employees that are full-time, so based in the filter context that we applied. So this is one way that you could use the calculate table. You can use it to create a DAX table with some filter context. But that doesn't mean that you can't use it as part of a DAX measure. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's go back to the report view. And then let's go back to our measure that failed. So you can see, because this is a table, but the measure expecting a scalar value as a return, we still need to return a scalar value. It's just the table itself should be a part of a calculation. So let's look at another function, for example. So let's look at count x. So we've covered this in the past, but anyway, let's look at this again. So this is an example of a function which requires a table, and where normally you would just put the table that you have in the model, you can use the calculate table to fill it in instead. So for example, we want to count the number of full-time employees. Instead of using the employees and putting a filter context, we can use the calculate table here. So let's paste the calculate table that we wrote already, comma, and let's type in our expression, so count event. And now you'll see that it works, so there's no more errors, and if I drag it in, you'll get the exact same value as the normal calculate. And that's it. I hope this video helped you understand what the difference is between these two functions. They are not too different from each other, it's just how you use them might be a little bit different. If this video helped you in any way, or you have any more questions, let me know in the comment section box below. Get in touch using the social media links that I included in the description box below, and thank you so much guys for watching. See you again on the next one.